What if I told you that the most credible UFO encounter in history happened not in the remote deserts of America, but in a quiet English forest right next to a U.S. Air Force base loaded with nuclear weapons? Over 3 nights, multiple military witnesses saw a triangular craft, measured radiation spikes, and chased lights that seemed to read their minds. The footage is real. The tapes exist. And the government still refuses to say what really happened. This is the Rendlesham Forest Incident, Britain's Roswell. And unlike most UFO stories that rely on blurry photos and one shaky witness, this case has it all: multiple trained military observers, radar confirmation, physical ground impressions, broken tree branches, Geiger counter readings, and a live audio recording of the event as it unfolded. When the incident happened, the Cold War was at its peak. RAF Bentwaters and RAF Woodbridge were among the most secure military installations in Europe, housing American aircraft and nuclear weapons. These were men trained to identify aircraft, missiles, and every known threat in the skies. They were not easily fooled. Today, we are breaking down exactly what happened, who saw it, and why the official explanations still don't hold up after more than 4 decades. It started just after midnight on December 26, 1980. Airman First Class John Burroughs was patrolling the perimeter of RAF Woodbridge, a joint US-UK airbase in Suffolk, England, when he spotted strange lights descending into nearby Rendlesham Forest. The lights were unlike anything he had ever seen: red, blue, and white lights moving in ways no aircraft could. He radioed his supervisor, Staff Sergeant Bud Steffens, and they drove into the forest to investigate. What they found made them call for backup immediately. Sergeant Jim Penniston arrived on scene, took command, and the 3 men pushed deeper into the woods. As they moved forward, their radios began to fail. A strange static electricity crackled through their hair and uniforms. Then the forest erupted in blinding light. According to Penniston's account, what emerged from the darkness was a triangular craft approximately 10 feet wide and 8 feet tall, resting on beams of light rather than landing gear. Its surface was black and smooth, covered in multicolored neon lights that pulsed across its hull. Penniston later said he touched the craft. The surface felt warm, like it had just landed after high-speed flight. He ran his fingers over strange symbols etched into its side, symbols he later described as resembling ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. When he touched one of the glyphs, a blinding white light exploded from the craft, and a series of ones and zeros flooded his mind. He pulled out his notebook and started writing down what he saw. That notebook would become one of the most controversial pieces of UFO evidence in history. 2 nights later, on December 28, the base deputy commander himself, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt, led a team into the forest armed with a Geiger counter and a tape recorder. What he captured that night is arguably the most compelling UFO audio evidence ever recorded. On the tape, you can hear Halt and his men discussing strange radiation readings at 3 triangular indentations in the ground. They find broken branches on trees facing inward toward the clearing, freshly snapped 15 to 20 feet up. Then the lights return. Halt describes strange lights dancing on the horizon, shaped like half-moons with colored lights. They shoot toward him. Beams of light burst from the objects, hitting the ground. The base reports that the light beams went directly into the weapons storage area where nuclear weapons were kept. Halt can be heard laughing nervously, saying, "This is unreal." The skeptics have explanations, and they are worth taking seriously. Astronomer Ian Ridpath argues that the lights were from the Orfordness Lighthouse, 5 miles away on the coast, combined with a bright fireball meteor that streaked across southern England that night. The indentations in the ground? Rabbit scrapings, according to local forester Vince Thurkettle. The broken branches? An axe mark from a forest ranger preparing trees for cutting. The radiation? Within normal background levels, according to Halt's own Geiger counter readings. But the witnesses don't buy it. Halt himself has stated he was well aware of the lighthouse and pointed out that lighthouse beams don't zip across the sky and shoot light beams down to the ground. In 2015, John Burroughs won a settlement from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, acknowledging that his health problems, heart issues and other ailments resulted from radiation exposure during his service at Rendlesham. His lawyer cited a declassified MOD report called Project Condign, which specifically mentioned the Rendlesham incident and stated that personnel were exposed to unidentified aerial phenomena radiation. The MOD's own files on the incident have a huge gap where intelligence documents should be. Someone removed them. So what really happened in that forest? Was it a misidentified lighthouse, a meteor, and a few rabbit holes, or was it something far stranger? The evidence is on tape. The witnesses are real. And the truth is still buried somewhere in those classified files. What do you think? If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that subscribe button. We release new mysteries every single week. Drop a comment telling us your theory. Lighthouse, meteor, or alien craft? We want to know what you believe.